Well, good Friday morning, Delaware. Welcome to Off the Shelf. I'm your host, Nicole Fowles. I'm here with my lovely co-host, Meyers, LaBadie.
Good morning.
It's a snowy Friday morning.
It is cold.
It's cold.
It is cold. I had the furry hat out.
It's been cold all week. I enjoyed the drive-in, though, because the snow has melted off the roadways, so I felt safe.
That is nice,
I do appreciate that. We are here this morning with two very special guests. If you were listening to The Breakfast Club prior to Off the Shelf, then you have already been graced with their wonderful presence. But if you are just tuning in exclusively for Off the Shelf, then this is a gift for you.
Oh, yes, it is.
We are here with Warren Hyer, the Executive Director of the Central Ohio Symphony.
Good morning.
Here, I'll let you.
All right, good morning. Now you can hear me.
And Warren has brought with him their premier soloist, the wonderful Aisha Syed Castro, who will be performing this Saturday.
Thank you so much. That's very kind.
We are so happy to have
excited.
you. Aisha is a virtuoso violinist. She will be performing with the Central Ohio Symphony this Saturday at 7:30 p.m., and you've got a number of wonderful things that you have coming. So for our regular listeners, we're going to kind of change things up a little bit. We're going to interview at the first half of the show, and then stay tuned after the break, because then we're going to go into some books and events and other things like that we regularly talk about. But one of the things that I wanted to kind of start with is one of the reasons why we've got you on the show today is because we have this new thing. It's called a Culture Pass, and it is a really incredible benefit, especially for our Delaware County Library youth card holders.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, can you tell us more?
Yes, well, for anybody who is high school age or younger who has a library card, to actually any one of three libraries.
Right.
Yeah, so that would be the Ashley Warren Staff Library.
Yep.
That would be the Community Library of Sunbury, and, of course, the Delaware County District Library and all its branches.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, if they have a library card, they can come to the concert and get in at no cost.
I love that.
On top of that, if they have the library card and come with a parent, they can get in for $14, which is less than half price for the concert.
Oh, I love it.
We did have a question, and maybe you can help us clarify this while we're here on air today. If one child comes with two parents, do both parents get that discount?
Sure, we can make that happen. I don't know about three parents, but two parents, yes.
Let's not go crazy. Wonderful. Yeah, this is a really nice benefit that we are so happy. And we've got a number of other institutions that are part of our Culture Pass system that we've just introduced this year. But Warren was saying that you are the Delaware County
representative.
Part.
Right, we are it.
Right. So, Aisha, you are. I just need to read a little bit of your bio, because this is absolutely
It's amazing.
I was blown away that you are the honorary cultural goodwill ambassador by the Dominican Republic government.
Yes.
What does that mean?
That was a very big deal for me. The president, the executive power there in Dominican Republic, they invested me as the cultural ambassador for the country, and it's been amazing representing my country officially, if you will, in an honorary manner throughout the world. So that's very beautiful for me.
That is absolutely gorgeous.
Yes.
You made your debut performance, becoming the youngest Dominican to perform with the Dominican Symphony Orchestra at age 11, but I'm sure you've been playing violin longer.
Since age 5.
Since age 5. Wow.
What drew you to the instrument?
Well, actually, my sister, she began playing before me. She's about 4 years older. She's now a doctor in medicine, so nothing to do with music. But I became to love I came to love the instrument because of her, and then I had that opportunity to debut when I was 11, and then at age 13, the huge blessing to be accepted by God's grace as the first Latina at the Yehudi Menuhin School in London. So that was a big thing for me. Then I went to the RCM, and I also was offered that's Royal College of Music in London, and I was also offered a full scholarship at the Guildhall School of Music and Drama, which is where people like Jacqueline Dupre studied, and the RCM people like Leopold Stokowski, Gustav Holst studied. So
just
that was
small names.
a huge thing for me by God's grace. Yeah,
That is so wonderful.
I have a question. Do you have any advice for parents who want to get their kids started in music? Are there any tips or suggestions or advice? I know I took piano for 8 years and I can't play anything. I loved, messing around with my sisters. But do you have any advice for parents who might be interested in getting their kids into music?
look out for what their wishes are and then try to enhance them, because many times as a parent myself, we want to sort of, I don't want to use the word force, but to make them like what we like.
Yes.
And that may not go down so well in the long term. So if we look out for those talents and those natural abilities that they have and then enhance them and say to them, would you like to go to this class? And then when they decide to do so, follow up, because although they may love what they do, we are the ones that have in our power to make them learn discipline in a good way so that they don't waste their time. Having said that, though, my sister, who's now a doctor in medicine, she still plays whenever she picks up a violin, and she had a encephalitis with in her brain, a very bad illness. And once she started to play the violin again, that sort of helped her heal. So music has many different wonderful abilities. So we can go to a concert and enjoy it. We can also have music therapy. So I would advise anybody to take up classes and to make their kids take up classes, because it's a blessing.
And I always say, I may not have learned to play the piano, but I've learned to appreciate music. I have a love to go to the symphony and I may be a little tone deaf on playing it myself, but I just really enjoy being in that atmosphere, having, anytime the symphony plays and you're surrounded in those sounds, it's just magical.
Yeah, and I was going to say that, going to a concert and seeing somebody like Aisha play can also provide great inspiration. You just never know when that magic moment will happen when somebody says, I want to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, very true.
I think that's a great segue into a little bit of what you're going to do with your day today. So once we wrap our interview here, you will be heading back up to Delaware City Schools and spending some time there with students today. So what's that going to look like?
Absolutely. Whenever I travel around the world, I ask the person that's leading the organization of the event to schedule either a visit to a school or a hospital or hospice. And for me, as a Christian, I was telling Warren, it's kind of like a social tithing. And I feel that when you do that, you connect with the community on a level that maybe you don't when you perform at a concert. And hopefully that inspires them to attend the concert later on in the evening or the next day. And for me, it's all about giving and getting actually back more than I give. So I enjoy those visits very much.
Let me add.
Yeah.
So we are going up to Dempsey Middle School to try catch at least one orchestra and maybe two of them. But one of the things is that the teachers have been preparing for her to come, and they've told her, and they've watched her play some, and they were actually playing a piece by Paganini, which is noted for being extremely fast and all over the place. And the students looked at the teacher and said, "So did they speed that up on the video?"
Oh my
and
gosh!
The answer is no, they didn't. So they're all energized already for her to come.
They're going to be watching to see how fast you go today.
Right. I'm thinking that, yes.
Is your visit today tied to another piece of your bio that I loved was you co-founded the Music for Life Foundation, which seeks to bring classical music to those who can't access it through regular music programs due to social, economic, or health reasons. Is this kind of another piece of working with youth and the public in your way?
Absolutely. When I attended the Yehudi Menu School, they would make us visit hospices and schools and play for the children, play for the elderly. And at that point, when I was 13, 14, I did not really understand why we were being made to do that. But as I grew up and I told my mother about those visits, she said, you know what? What you did in London, you should do in your home country, because there's a lot of needs, especially with the youth there, with the elders. And so we started the Music for Life Foundation, my mother and I, in 2010. And we have that side of it. Then we have the more teaching side of it, in which I bring teachers, especially from the UK, which is where I studied. So we've had Florian Leonard, we've had Mark Messenger, who is the director of strings at the Royal College of Music, to give one-on-one lessons to those children at the foundation for absolutely no cost. So I enjoy doing that, and I hope that as I get older, I can do more of that work.
I love that so much. I mean, so many accolades, playing at Carnegie, playing at Kennedy Center, London, Geneva, all of these wonderful places that are just known for their promise to the arts throughout the world. For the concert coming up on Saturday, how lucky is Delaware to have you? What excites you about what you're playing on Saturday?
Oh, for me, it's just performing with the Central Ohio Symphony and being back with Maestro Jaime Morales. This is an orchestra that has been standing strong for 44 seasons, and it really, the honor is mine. So I really hope that in the coming years, we can build a lasting relationship. And of course, the Tchaikovsky Violin Concerto is a major work, and I'm sure not because of me, but because of the composer, people will enjoy it very, very much.
Oh, that's beautiful.
We are just so excited. I was reiterating to Molly before we got on air that this partnership with the Central Ohio Symphony as part of our Culture Pass program really just is a reiteration of the library's mission of our promise for lifelong learning. And it really starts with youth. And so we're really happy that this is a mutually exclusive or a mutual beneficial relationship between us.
Right, and it's part of our mission too. You know, it's more than just playing concerts. Our mission really is engaging the community through music, and that's what the whole purpose is here. You know, we have Aisha to play the concert, but we have Aisha to be in the community and to do things in the community. And we try to do that with every concert that we possibly can.
I know we've loved having you come out to the libraries with your ensembles. To this day, I was standing next to the chickens when they were at Ostrander. We had the little baby chicks, and they were singing along. It was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
It was, yeah. And I think we visited all all of the libraries.
I think you did.
Except for the main library. I don't think we were there, but we'll get
work
them
on
next
that.
year. Yes.
We'll work on that one.
All right. Well, this has been really, really wonderful. Warren and Aisha, thank you so much for visiting us. Again, the concert is the Central Ohio Symphony. It is tomorrow, Saturday at 7:30 p.m. If you want to take advantage of this Culture Pass, it's the easiest one that we have. All you need to do is either have your youth show up with their library card or call the Symphony office for their free ticket and then tell them how many adults they have coming with them, 1 or 2.
And if you need a library card, just pop in. We make it really easy to get your card. You can even do your sign up online before you get there, and we'll have a card in your hand so you're ready to go.
Maybe we should do a library card sign up at the concert.
Ooh, we could definitely do that,
that?
like a little iPad or something. All right. Well, thank you so much. This has been really wonderful. I can't wait for tomorrow night. And listeners, stay tuned. After the break, we'll be talking about I Have a Scary Book.
Oh, I have a historical book.
Here we go. All right. We'll see you on the other side.
And you're listening to Off the Shelf on My 96.7, sponsored by the Friends of the Delaware County District Library.
Hello, hello. Welcome back. We just had a really fun interview that first half of the show.
We really did. I loved it.
If you're just tuning in, we're flipping things up a little bit today. We had Warren Hyer, Executive Director of the Central Ohio Symphony, and Aisha Castro joining us.
She was so lovely.
Their performer. Yeah. I'm really invigorated for her performance tomorrow night.
And her drive to be playing music is just beautiful. Her wanting to share that with as many people as she can.
I love it.
I know.
It's good to have that like foundational mission behind like why you do what you do,
yes.
other than just beautiful music. So for the second half of the show now, we are going to do what we normally would do in the first half of the show, which is talk a little bit about books.
I love talking about books any day of the week.
What do you got?
Well, I just finished a book. So fun fact about a lot of my reading, my mother's in like 3 book clubs. And her sisters are in several book clubs,
right.
And they all think I've read all of their books. So a lot of my reading either comes from wanting to read opposite of their book clubs, and that's where you get all my cozy mysteries or romances, or I'm reading the really great things they love. And my Aunt Marilyn has a favorite book club book that she has read this year, The Personal Librarian by Marie Benedict and Victoria Christopher Murray.
I've heard good things.
I have really enjoyed it. It's interesting. I am, if anybody ever friends me on Goodreads, spoiler alert, I give everything like a 4 or 5. I am not a picky reader.
Right.
I guess that's fair for the listeners to know. I'm not a picky reader. I just really enjoy people being willing to share things. But this book drew me in. Of course, this is about a librarian, so got me right there. But this is the story of Belle DaCosta Green. Belle DaCosta Green was J.P. Morgan's personal librarian. She built J.P. Morgan's library. So this is based in actual history.
Neat.
But Belle had a secret. Belle was passing as white when her family was of African American and African descent. And it was a plan her mother actually made to help her children. And this gave Belle so many opportunities. This story, though, takes her through sort of the struggles to kind of start her career, getting in with J.P. Morgan, fighting to buy all of these expensive books, getting in there with men. I mean, what she did as a whole is just this amazing collection. Being part of opening it up so that scholars could use the library to do their research, and it wasn't just J.P. Morgan's. You go through her personal life, too, the struggles she had. Her father was actually a fighter for civil rights, and her parents really split and disconnected the families to protect Belle and her siblings. So there was this whole separation there as well. There were romances that, of course, this is historical fiction. They had a lot of fun sort of playing with what could have been with other characters during that time. But as she grew, her passion for her advocacy grew too, and the struggle of not being her true self, but also the things she was able to do by not being her true self. So it really leaves you uncomfortable at times, sad for history, wowed and amazed at this brilliant person who could get into society as well as the library world. She fit completely into the society of the time. So this book is a must-read, in my opinion. The personal librarian, Marie Benedict, who's really known for her historical fiction.
Right.
But she wrote this with Victoria Christopher Murray, and if you listen to the audio, definitely stay for the interviews at the end.
Oh, fun. I like when they add those.
It's interesting because Marie Benedict normally doesn't work with anyone else. Or if she does, they're really in her line.
Yeah.
And hearing the writing process during COVID, during all of this as well, really added to the entire story for me.
So historical fiction, but J.P. Morgan really did have his own library. He really did have his own kind of curator of that.
And her name was Belle DaCosta Green.
Yeah. So
This is just, we don't know her thoughts.
some elaboration.
But
Right.
she also added these amazing stories. Nobody knew this secret till later. And J.P. Morgan's family had an interesting history. I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay.
They had an interesting history as well. I'm being very careful not to tell you any of the major spoilers in this, other than she was amazing.
That's really cool. So the personal librarian.
The personal librarian.
Well, as I teased before we went to break, my book is a horror book. So I'm a couple weeks behind from Halloween, but I just got it on audio. There was a little bit of a wait for it. This is by one of my favorite authors of this genre named Josh Mallerman. If that name sounds familiar, it's because he wrote Bird Box, which was made into a movie, which is now on Netflix, starring Sandra Bullock. It had a follow-up that I've also reviewed called Mallory. It's just, he does a really good job. The thing I'll say about Josh Mallerman, which is kind of funny, is when he does a good job, he does a really good job. When he does a not great job,
It's a really not great job.
yeah, you can kind of get it that way, and I think his other fans would agree with me. I don't think I'm out of line saying that. But this book that I'm talking about today is called Pearl, and let me set you a scene.
Set me a scene.
Set you a scene. We are on Walter Koppel's farm, and we have a large pig pen. And in they're pigs, but they're hogs. They're big, you know.
Pigs can be mean.
Yeah.
We make them look like they're all cuddly and snuggly, but
I mean, the little teacup ones for sure. But
those definitely are.
But the big ones, the hogs, So you're looking at this pen of pigs. All are, about the size that you would see at like a fair, but one is much larger than the rest. He's a black and white, and he's sitting almost on his hind haunches with his front paws kind of limp in front of him. His head kind of...
I think that would be
Did I say paws?
You said paws.
I'm sorry.
Now
Hooves.
I'm picturing a half cat, half hog, just so
No.
you know you're making this cuddly again.
No, take it away. Hooves, his front hooves hanging in front of him, his head kind of pointing towards the sun. One eye appears lazier than the other eye is closed, and his mouth is at a slight grin under his snout. His name is Pearl. And the reason that his name is Pearl is because under his lazy eye, in the blackness, the white of his eye that you can see resembles that of a pearl.
Ooh.
So what we know of Pearl is that everyone feels uneasy when they're around him. As I mentioned, he's much larger than all of the rest of the pigs because he obviously hasn't gone to slaughter yet. But why? Maybe he has some reason. Maybe he has some way to communicate with the farmer that it's not his time yet. Maybe he's planning for when it will be not his time, but perhaps the farmer's time to go to slaughter.
This is like a really dark Charlotte's Web.
Oh my gosh. I read a review on Goodreads and they said, which I don't hate me. I didn't read George Orwell's Animal Farm.
Oh.
I haven't read it. I'm sorry.
That was a game changer for me. That's when I was like, sci-fi.
Yeah.
This is my world.
So, I basically a review that someone read, but I know the concept well enough because it's in, the American tome. But the concept is that if the pig on Animal Farm didn't take it far enough, Pearl's taken it farther. It is now time to go farther. Actually, what I've learned of this book is that it's a re-release. It was originally released in 2019 called On This the Day of the Pig. So
a little harder to say.
Yes, this one is Pearl. I think it's a better title. And the other thing that I'll match in is that Pearl has a way to see the unseen, to speak the unspoken, and to kind of maybe telekinetically put some thoughts in your mind. This is a very, very dark book. It's very gory. It's very horror. So hopefully I've given you.
So this is not for the light of heart.
No, it's not a light. It's not a light, scary horror. It's a heavy, dark, gory.
Yeah, not
horror.
like the cozy mysteries with witches that I occasionally read.
Not at all. Not at all. So this is Pearl by Josh Mallerman. So,
love this.
Yes, you will enjoy it, I think, if you like horror. So
I do like horror.
Yeah, we have a couple minutes to talk about some of the things that we have upcoming at the Delaware County District Library. Again, continuing this Saturday at the main library is our NaNoWriMo write-in.
NaNoWriMo!
It's all day long, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the main library. We have the community room set aside for you. That'll be this Saturday and the rest of the Saturdays in November.
You got your back here in the November writing month.
That's right. We also have coming up a couple book clubs this week. Carrie's is reading The Maid by Nita Prose.
Oh, I loved The Maid.
Did you?
I did. I really, really did.
Good.
I didn't see where it was going. I believe that's the one that has a character named Molly in it. And
Always
I don't
good.
mind reading books with my name in it.
Especially when they're nice characters.
My Goodreads shelf actually has Molly's.
Molly books.
Yeah, I have Molly books in it. So
And Harla's Book Club. And I think we can say this. This will be one of her last ones
if
before
we get in
she...
trouble, I apologize.
Right.
But
one of the last ones before she retires.
it's going to be... I'm trying not to accept that fact,
Yeah.
but it is, and...
She'll be...
loved.
Really,
We're
really
all
loved.
struggling with
Really, really
this. We're
missed.
so happy for her.
Her last day will be Friday, December 2nd. She's having a gathering on the 1st, but please stop by anytime
Please
that
stop
week
by.
in the Ostrander branch, or come and see her Tuesday, November
Yes.
22nd at her book club at 7 o'clock. They're reading Have a Little Faith by Mitch Albom.
Oh, that'll be a good.
Yeah.
That'll be a good one.
And my final reminder, this is coming up on Thanksgiving week. We do close early at 5 p.m.
Yes,
on
we do.
Wednesday, and we close all day on Thursday. So go celebrate, have a wonderful time, and then see us in the library after the Thanksgiving holiday.
And let's just throw out real quick. You may have gotten a weird email yesterday saying that you have an overdue book that you returned a really long time ago.
Yeah.
We just want to let you know there was a mistake in the computers that prompted those.
Just ignore it.
Ignore it.
Yep.
You're fine.
We're wrong.
Trust me, we still love you. There's no problem.
Yeah.
That's on us. We fixed it. I promise.
We're wrong. You're right. We're sorry.
And we're so sorry.
Forgive us. All right, listeners, thank you so much for listening today. Thank you, Molly.
Always love being here.
Thank you, Gage.
Yeah, of course.
I'm so glad you got to see that rocket.
I know, finally. Finally.
And have a wonderful week, listeners. We will see you in the stacks.